Hey guys, this is Castro once again with YS Stocks and Options. And this is going to be a two-part segment. We're going to talk about the upcoming events, how we did on our market forecast, and give you guys an inside view of what we're doing in our community, right? How we did this week with some of the trades that we got into. We're really focusing on one in particular. So let's get started here. You guys know the first thing I like to look at is the market watch, economic, politics calendar, right? All the reports that are coming for next week. So as we look into next week, right, starting off on the 25th, right, we got the Fed actually speaking, right, Chief Fed National Activity Index, that's for June. We have that one for Monday, that report at 8:30 in the morning, right before the market opens. But Wednesday and Thursday, right, Wednesday and Thursday is really the key dates that I'm paying attention to with Wednesday the 27th of July at 1400 or 2 o'clock, federal funds target rate. We get those numbers. And also we have at 2:30, the most important segment for Wednesday. It's Federal Chairman Powell actually has a press conference. So I'm not expecting much from the press conference. If anything, I mean, we may see some increased volatility for the market for that particular date, right? So that key date for next week, the 27th again of July, might expect high market volatility for that particular date. Then on Thursday, we have a few reports, initial jobless claims, continuous claims, and then we end Friday with a lot of the core PCE price index, right? And of course, the Chicago PMI in addition to that. So as we look into this week, right, as we look into the forecast, first, I'd like to start first with IWM, right? And just to look at IWM or the Russell 2000, this was actually a two-part forecast that we did. Remember that 170, 151, that's a two-part, right? So we first said that with this, we said that IWM Russell 2000 was actually come and hit $175.49. And believe it or not, it exceeded that, right? It went past that target. Of course, we had a resistance line here, right? Resistance line here for IWM. And not only did it exceed our target of 175.49, but it hit, right? It hit resistance, which we had outlined right here, right? So that was a successful trade that we got into for IWM. As we look into what it closed, right? So IWM closed here in a bearish engulfing candle, right? Not only did it close and fill this gap here, right? Not only did it fill this gap, once it filled the gap, we had a bearish engulfing candle past resistance. So as we look into this one, we really are anticipating that IWM should test, right? Should test this support area here to 175 roughly. But give me 1 second because I don't have my moving average here. I don't know where it went. Let's see here. My 21 EMA, right? Or is it my 21 EMA just disappeared on me here? So I'm gonna just give me 1 second so we can have that there. All right, so we can actually play with it and work with it, right? Okay. So you guys know that I like to use the 21 moving average as one of my support areas when it comes to actually trading options, right? Everything that we say goes in reference to the EMA. So for this forecast for the Russell 2000, right, gonna say it's gonna retest here, right? I'm gonna go as low as the mean, right, for next week, which ends on the 29th, right? Gonna go as low as here, right? 153.40. I'm going as low as 153.33, right? So that's the forecast for IWM, right? The next one that we want to look at is the Dow Jones. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial. How did that one play it out, right? So for the Dow Jones Industrial, look at this, right? So this here was the gap that we mentioned, right? Possibly filling this gap. And believe it or not, it did just that, right? Actually filled this gap here. So our forecast for it was $315.72. Right now, it's actually trading at 319, right? So that was a successful trade here. If we would have gotten into this one, right, would have made nice little profits for that one. For the Dow Jones Industrial, it has some resistance here. It broke past resistance, right? It went as far as here. And the second part of that, we said that in the long term, right, this one going all the way up to August 3rd, it was going to hit 306, right? So I will remove this one here, 306, which is a farther one out, just for us to really focus on next week. So next week, so here, this is a bearish candle here, right? We had change in volume, right? So motivation, as I say, is we look at the CCI. The CCI is hinging downward, right, to include the stochastics, right? We got the CCI hinging downward. We also have a nice bearish candle here with the volume decreasing and the sellers actually taking control of the market, right? Who's in control of the market? And given earnings next week, right? Mixed earnings that we're expecting, not only did Dow Jones Industrial again fill this gap here, almost fill the gap, but now it's showing bearish signal. So we're going to forecast this here, right? I'm going to go all the way here to the mean for the 29th of July, right? So that's not even 313. I'm going to go a little bit higher right here. I'm going to go to 314.64, right? So $5 down. Reason being, again, we had, right, sellers are definitely motivated, right, by the volume on Friday. The CCI is hinging downward, right? We talked about that. And also the stochastics is showing a bearish signal, right? So that's for the Dow Jones Industrial. So let's get into the QQQ, right? So next week we have Megatech reporting earnings. Megatech reporting earnings. We're talking about Microsoft, the Apples, right? And all the other Megatech companies, right? So for Megatech, we had the forecast for $295.33, right? But amazingly, it filled the second gap. It filled this gap here, and it went higher. So this one exceeded our forecast. I removed the wrong one. So the QQQ, Nasdaq 100, not only did it pass our resistance area here, but it also closed the gap and it exceeded that, right? But what we see in here now, look at this. Decrease in volume on our way up. We have a bearish engulfing candle here, right? Bearish engulfing candle, a key level of support. And of course, we have the CCI, Commodity Channel Index, right? Trending downward. And of course, the stochastics following. So for this one, forecast really simple, right? Same as the rest of the market. We have it. I'm going to have it come all the way here to key level of support. I'm going to go 293 to the 29th. I'm going to go to 293.40, right? 293.40 for at the end of the month, especially given a lot of the megatech companies actually reporting earnings, right? So as we look at it, right, come here, right? Even though I went a little bit lower to 293, 293.40, right? It could potentially hit as low as 289, 290, but we'll see what happens, right? And of course, this is the support area for the downside. So I have 293.40 here. I would say end of July or early August, right? So I'm gonna have this one for, I'm gonna have it, for next week. So of course, you guys know I like to look at the VIX before I actually show anything else. So the VIX itself, this is for a while ago. I didn't do a VIX for last week, right? This was the 20th. No, this was a failure for the VIX, right? So as we look into the VIX, where are we right now with the VIX, right? It went past this area here. This is a support area that, I had mentioned before. But as we look into the VIX, right, still have the VIX going higher. But the VIX itself, look at this. It's oscillator oversold territory here, right? Close to what looks like a spinning top candle. Right? It's been down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, right? So as the market goes lower, right? I'm anticipating the VIX to go a little bit higher, right? Key support area here. I'm going to have it go to 2460 roughly. at 2460 for the VIX going into next week. And of course, the VIX is going up. We can expect the market to go down. The last one we're going to touch on is SPY, the S&P 500. How did that one play out? Well, that one played out superbly, right? Again, we did a two-part, right? A two-parter here, right? This one going on August 2nd, but I'm going to remove that one. So just to focus for next week and also talk about what happened this week. What happened this week, right? What happened? So our forecast was 389.78. Again, another successful trade. Say here, the 20th of July. Successful. Not only did it hit our target, it exceeded, right? And it closed this gap here that I mentioned and possible. I said that this was a possibility given that, you know, Megatech was actually reporting earnings for the upcoming week, right? So it exceeded that. It went as far as closing, right? Closing above and actually closing this gap here, right? It's the gap. So you guys can see a gap here, right? Filling that gap. And now we see, right? We see bearish signs for the S&P 500. What leads me to believe one thing, that we're gonna go down, right? Down for the 29th, right? I'm gonna go to 289, right? You know what? I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm gonna go to just a little bit lower than that, right? I'm gonna go to 289. I'll go to 289. I'm gonna remove this line here. I'm going to 289. All right. Ideally, I want to go to 287, given that the mean is right there, but has some support right there. So I'm gonna go to 289, 288.99 for the S&P 500. Again, the CCI, you guys see that the CCI is hinging downward, right? Bearish, right? We see the stochastics here hinging downward even though it's delayed, right? It's bearish. Let's go back, right? Huge gap, right? Overbought territory. So that's bearish. And look at this, right? We had a decrease in volume on the way up. Decrease in volume. That means the buyers were losing motivation. Look at that increase in, right? Red, right? The sellers, right? They took over the S&P 500 on this particular market here, right? So I'm expecting next week CCI, bearish signal, volume here, bearish signal, candle here, bearish signal. I'm expecting the market or S&P 500 to go lower next week, right? Especially given the Fed speaking on Wednesday and all the pinned up, negative catalysts in the market. So that is all for this time. Let us know what you guys think, right? Continue to share and like our YouTube channel so you guys can get great content like this. More importantly, if you guys are interested in joining the community, and we teach how to trade options, we teach how to truly invest in the market. We talk about the market phases, life cycle, and that's how we actually implement our trading strategy based on that and mitigating risks to using our planning tools, right? So we always say, always practice logical emotions. And remember, always, we'll see you guys at the finish line. Peace and be blessed.